Social media is a way people and companies can communicate and share ideas, as well as creating social networks. It combines many sites such as Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and many more, which enable people to connect with the world and people around them. These sites are a feeding ground for advertisements, as there are millions of people on social media every day. Many companies start accounts or pages on these sites to develop an understanding of the consumer circle in their given field and spread awareness and support for their business. This allows customers to give reviews of the company and what they are looking for in dealing with the business. Social media is used by many companies to share news and updates with a wide customer base. The magazine Cosmopolitan uses social media in many ways to widen the people that they can reach with their business. Their website has links to blogs, subscriptions, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to reach a larger customer base. The Facebook page posts headlines from articles and provides a link to the full article. This allows for instantaneous news and allows more customers to be informed. There are many legal issues with social media, such as privacy, intellectual property, discrimination, harassment, and defamation. In a recent article pertaining to privacy by ABC News, Laurel Papworth discovered that banks have been accessing personal information about individuals, such as where you live, friends, topics of discussion, holidays, and even how you've been using your credit card. They then use this data to analyse whether they want to do business or give you a loan. With over 13 million people in Australia on Facebook as of January 2014, 3 million on LinkedIn, and 2 million on Twitter, the risk of personal information becoming available is a large worry. In another case, LinkedIn faces a lawsuit over violations of privacy in that they were accessing customers' external contact lists and sending promotional messages portraying themselves as the user. Additional emails were sent if the first two emails were not accepted, which may result in the recipient becoming annoyed at the sender, potentially damaging them professionally or personally. In the case of Winklevoss twins versus Facebook, the twins have attempted to sue Facebook again for intellectual property theft after their original payout of $65 million. They have attempted to sue again for at least 4 times their original payout sum, claiming that Facebook owner Mark Zuckerberg was deceitful in the net worth of his company. The original case shows the twins suing Zuckerberg for intellectual property theft after inviting him to work on a similar site they created. They received a portion of the company's shares as a result. However, the judge concluded the second lawsuit was just a case of buyer's remorse. Samantha Refetian, a journalism student, released an article discussing all the new prospects of social media as well as issues with the growing social technological era. She reinforces the need to be mindful of personal information of social media as it can then be judged by future employees. Employers also need to be aware to not base employment on gender, age, race, or sexual orientation, as they can expect discrimination claims from employees. Harassment is often a source of speculation with where the joke ends and harassment begins, which is why many lawsuits arise. In a recent court case, $1.6 million was paid to an employee with a disability who was harassed by co-workers on a blog outside of the workplace. The employer did not take any action and was found guilty because they were aware but didn't stop it. Harassment on technology can include virtual harassment, textual harassment, sexting, and cyberstalking, which are all challenges many employees have to face. In the first case of defamation to go through trial in Australia, a student was required to pay a sum of $105,000 to a schoolteacher after they posted defamatory statements on Twitter and Facebook. The comments had a devastating effect on the teacher as they implied she had caused harm to the defendant's father as she took over his job. The judge ruled that it was common knowledge that defamatory publications made on social media spread, and the defendant was ordered to pay $85,000 in compensatory damages and $20,000 in aggravated damages. These case studies show the rules and regulations companies should follow to maintain the loyalty of their employees as well as customer base. They show how serious the issues involved with social media really are. Harassment is one of the major issues regarding the use of social media, as many people do not know when to draw the line. Many employees and employers are not aware that social media harassment outside of the workplace still counts as a workplace harassment, as in the case of the employee being harassed by co-workers outside the workplace shows. This can be a big issue with loyalty of employees and customers. Harassment can be delivered through online sites as well as text messages between two people. The case of the teacher and student shows how quickly an offhand comment from one person can damage another so dramatically. Defamation is seen as damaging the reputation, business, or treatment of another person by false allegations. This demands a high standard of research to be done to prevent any false statements. Many people feel stronger when they aren't face to face with a person, which allows them to be harsher than they might have originally meant to be. This would be more damaging for the parties involved in the situation. Privacy is another major issue, with many people disregarding fine details which could allow places access to private information. In the LinkedIn case, the user did sign a disclaimer giving the company access to contacts, however did not read the fine print. Many businesses have access to individuals' internet data, which highlights the need for higher security and minimizing information available. Social media brings up many issues which impact on the effectiveness of social media in the workplace. The issue of harassment does not impact the effectiveness of social media from the point of view that it was made to share opinions with others, however, the opinions need to be monitored. In the workplace, the misuse of social media can be detrimental to the mentality of other workers as well as the reputation of the company if it persists. Defamation is a large problem with all companies as social media provides them with a larger customer base able to give reviews and opinions which many others will see. Defamation would be the biggest problem as many other consumers would witness the good and bad reviews, sometimes coming to their own conclusions beforehand. This slander will damage reputations of individuals, companies, and any other parties involved, which are hard to rebuild. Privacy is an issue with deceitful companies, however, high security mechanisms on personal information would not impact the effectiveness majorly. While the issue of defamation is a major problem, the minimal risks with harassment and privacy outweigh the negatives. To improve the problems with defamation, there are strategies that can be put in place to minimize the risk of defamatory statements damaging reputations. The media industry would gain many benefits from using social media, but would need to be handled and monitored correctly. Using social media for information sharing between colleagues is recommended because it allows for more flexible work schedule as well as access to instantaneous news and information all the time. The platforms that could be used are web-based social networks and blogs, which both allow for sharing of products and information. Blogs would be most beneficial as they allow for discussion on material and help to educate and share knowledge. This platform would allow all colleagues to receive the information as well as contributing any ideas for further company development. Building business contacts would best be done through social networks as they connect people through common interests, allowing for contact lists to be built for future endeavours and customer bases. Involving the company in related matters with the public and other business owners will build a customer and competitor contact base to refer to. Communicating with vendors can be done through microblogs, which allow the company to share important information and updates with them, as well as being informed of any changes in industry. Listening tools for social media monitoring is a necessary platform for researching competitors, reviewing and rating products and services. To stay on top of the competitor ladder, the company needs to be aware of critical information going on around them, including industry changes, competitor prices, and standards. Gauging an overview of customer opinion is also important so the business is aware of what is and isn't working. Connecting with customers is a necessary aspect of developing a good business with quality relationships with consumers and competitors. The two best ways to connect with customers is by location-based social networks and microblogs that allow for researching customers close to the business and connecting with them. These two platforms have avenues for the company to inform consumers of promotions and develop these relationships. Based on these avenues, Fairfax Media would benefit immensely from increasing their use of social media as it would expand their customer base as well as keeping them above their competitors. Despite the issues with social media, the positives largely outweigh the negatives, appealing to the clientele's constant need for change. A group of staff members can be assigned to monitor any unwanted media attention to protect their reputation and maintain loyal contacts. This research shows the outweighing benefits of using social media and the customer support for change.